Hey team, welcome to another Bullpen Bulletin with Coach Hart and Building Better Baseball. Today we are talking about 5 principles for improvement, and this is more like individual improvement. So this is mainly for players. This is just kind of 5 principles that are going to be your foundation for how you improve at any skill in baseball. But coaches can also use it for their own improvement as well. These are 5 principles that I teach in for my kids and my physical education classes and everything. I use these in my own life, so I just created 5 principles for improvement that you can work off of to improve at any skill in baseball or in life in general. So let's get into it. Again, I'm Coach Hart. This is Building Better Baseball, the best place for baseball education. So let's get into these 5 principles. All right, the first thing is we're going to talk about what a principle is so we're all on the same page. All right, so the definition of a principle is a fundamental truth or proposition that serves as the foundation for a system of belief or behavior. So what it means is these principles are your foundation for your growth. This is where everything stems from. This is the trunk of the tree where the branches are your growth. All right. These principles are fundamental truths of improvement. All right. They act as the foundation for improving at anything in life. These don't just apply to baseball and improvement. These can apply to improving at anything in life. All right. So without them, your growth will fall short of its true potential. So your expectations of how much you want to grow in a skill or how much better you want to get, without these principles, without these 5 things being your foundation, it will not be as good as it should be if you had these 5. All right. So like I said, these are interchangeable. These 5 are interchangeable that you can use to improve at anything. Okay. So let's get into the first one. So the first one is quality over quantity. All right. This principle is all about the repetitions that you take. All right. So taking ground balls, hitting off of a tee, practicing pitching mechanics, any skill that you are doing, you obviously have to repeat it and do repetitions or take reps in order to get better at it. You're not going to just do it one time and then you're going to be great, right? You have to repeat it and everything. But when you are repeating and when you are doing your repetitions, quality matters over quantity. And quantity just means number, the number of repetitions that you do. Proper repetitions, quality, is the goal, never the number of repetitions, which is the quantity. So you are always looking for quality repetitions, right? You never want to focus on the number of repetitions that you do, because as I say here, 10 correct repetitions will always beat 100 incorrect repetitions, all right? And the last thing is practice is reinforcing mechanics. So make sure they're correct. When you are doing your repetitions, you are reinforcing your mechanics. That's how you improve and that's how you get better. But you don't want to reinforce bad habits or reinforce bad mechanics. Okay, so that's why I'm saying that we have to focus on quality over quantity. And I feel like sometimes youth players, they get all up into the hitting off of the tee and, oh coach, I took a hundred swings today. Isn't that great? And I immediately think, okay, yeah, that is great. I'm really excited that you got out there and you're doing individual practice. But if those 100 swings were not the correct mechanics, you're only reinforcing bad habits, right? So quality over quantity. I never want you to think about the number of repetitions that you do. I want you to think about each repetition and making sure that that's correct, because those outweigh the number of repetitions or the quantity every single time. So the first principle is quality over quantity. Make sure that each rep is proper and correct, because you are reinforcing those good and correct habits and mechanics when you focus on quality over the number or quantity. So let's get into the second principle. The second principle is attention to detail. All right. So this principle kind of builds off of number one. All right. Whenever you're putting work into improving a skill, make sure that you're paying attention. All right. You don't want to just be out there not paying attention, thinking about something else and just like rolling through the motions, right? It is always about attention to detail. All right. Every rep matters. Every single rep that you ever take when you're trying to improve matters. It's not like you're just going to go out for an hour. And this kind of, like I said, builds off of that quantity where it kind of goes hand in hand, where if you are not if you are not attentive to your details of the mechanics, you are most likely focused on the quantity that you're doing. So if you go out and you hit on a tee for an hour, you're only focused on the quantity or the number of swings that you take. You are most likely not being attentive to the detail. You're not focused on the details of those mechanics because you're only focused on taking as many reps as possible. All right. And that's not how we improve. That's reinforcing bad habits. So every rep matters. When you focus on the quality of your repetitions, that means that you are paying attention to the detail. Like I said, they go hand in hand. So quality repetitions means that you're focusing on the details of every repetition and reinforcing those good mechanics. Whereas if you're focused on the quantity, you're not being attentive to the details and you're only focused on the number, which is most likely going to be bad mechanics that you're reinforcing. Okay. Now be sure to take your time, break down your mechanics, and work on every detail. So like I said before, 10 correct repetitions will always beat 100 incorrect repetitions. It doesn't matter the number, because if they're bad and they're incorrect, then it's not doing anything for you. It could be actually making you worse, right? So when performing a drill, don't just rush through it just to get it done. That's not the mindset that we need to have when we're doing drills and we're trying to improve its skills, right? When you're performing a drill, like I said, you don't want to rush through it just to get it done. You want to focus and activate your mind with every rep, ensuring that it's correct. That is how you improve, and that is how you learn, and that is how you grow. Okay, so like I said, it kind of builds off of number one, the quality over quantity. And when you are focused on the quality repetitions, you are also being attentive to detail and focusing on the details. And when you are doing your drills, don't just rush through it just to get it done. Be focused on the details and focused on the quality of your repetitions, because that is exponential growth and that will help you improve at anything. Okay. Now, the third one is you have to have some sort of reflection or analysis when you are done. Okay. So building off of 1 and 2, improvement and growth happens when you reflect and analyze afterwards. All right. It could be after every rep. I used to do that when I was younger. Like I used to take, let's say pitching. I was a pitcher in college. So when I was younger, obviously wanted to get better at it. So I would make a pitch and I would think to myself, what happened on that pitch, right? What did I do? Where did that pitch go? And why did it go there? I was reflecting and analyzing every single rep. But there were also times where I just did it after a whole practice session. I would focus on quality over quantity. I would be focused on the details. And then afterwards, after I was done that practice session, I would be reflecting and analyzing and say, oh, what worked? Blah, blah, blah. And these questions right here, what went right? Right? Do you feel more confident in the skill? Why or why not? So after a practice session or even after a rep, make sure you ask yourself these questions. This is reflecting. This is analyzing, right? What went right? Okay, this went right. I did this well. I hit off the tee and that ball went exactly when I wanted to. Or I was pitching the ball and I threw a strike and that's exactly where I wanted to throw it. That is reflection. That is making sure that you reflect and analyze after a practice session. All right, so the other most important question is what went wrong, right? Did you notice yourself struggling at any point? How can you do better? And doing this sort of reflection analysis is how we learn, right? This is how we learn. Basically doing your quality over quantity, being focused on the details, and then afterwards reflecting and analyzing, basically asking yourself these questions and going through what you just did so that you can learn for next time and make yourself even better. You see how it works? They all kind of build off of each other, right? And if you are not doing these things, your growth will stay stagnant or you will stay the same because you are not actively trying to get better. You're just kind of, like I said in the last slide, just going through the motions just to get it done. And that's not how we learn. All right. So reflection analysis, either after every rep or after a whole practice session is just really important for your growth and moving on to the next time that you practice so you can learn from what happened this time. All right. Now, the fourth one is consistency and discipline. All right, this one kind of seems kind of obvious, but consistency is the path to all improvement. Inconsistency ultimately leads to staying the same. All right, it leads to staying the same. So if you are inconsistent, that means that you are probably going to stay the same, or you are going to make small little improvements where consistency will lead to larger improvements exponentially. All right. Now, what's the key to staying consistent is discipline, right? Having the self discipline to get out there every day or every week or on a consistent schedule that's sustainable in order to get better. All right. So, having the self discipline to get out there every day and do something that makes you better. And I even say here, it doesn't have to be every day, but it needs to be consistent and sustainable. What schedule can you keep up? If you are really serious about improving your skills, what schedule can you keep up for the next 5 to 7 years until you get into high school, right? And even like when you get into high school, that's a different story. You'll probably keep this schedule, but what can you stay consistent with? If it's not every day, then don't hold yourself to that expectation because you're not going to meet it, right? Because it's not sustainable, it's not possible. Now, I remember when I was a young player, I would like literally get home and like get off the bus. I would throw my backpack in the front yard and I would go straight out to my backyard and I would either do fielding, I would throw against my pitchback, I would hit off a tee, I would do something. So I was able to do it every day, but I understand that everybody has different circumstances. So, but everybody is able to keep a schedule and have something that works for them. There is a time in your schedule where you can dedicate to your improvement at baseball, right? What is that schedule? And the key to your improvement is staying disciplined with that schedule and keeping it consistent. That is how we improve and that is how we get better and grow. All right. Now the last one, perseverance. All right. Last principle. This applies to anything in baseball. Anything. Baseball is a beautiful game that can give you everything in one moment and then knock you down the next. All right. And usually when it knocks you down, it tries to keep you down. All right. That is just the nature of baseball. That's what makes it so beautiful is it can give you the highs of the highs and the lows of the lows, right? You will fail. You will make mistakes. There is no doubt about it. I have failed way more times in baseball than I have succeeded. And I pitched in college, right? I made it to the collegiate level. All right. So even professionals talk about it all the time is that it is just a game of failure, right? And you have to have perseverance. Perseverance is basically getting through that hard time, the ability to get through the hard times because you know that you will be successful and you accept that this game will knock you down, but it will also reward you at the same time. All right. Resiliency and perseverance is essential for any type of growth. All right. If you are out there and you're doing drills and you're trying to get better and you are not performing like you want to, if your answer is to give up, then you are guaranteeing yourself 100% that you will not get better, right? If you give up, if you fail and you give up after that, then you're guaranteeing yourself 100% chance that you will not get better because you're not actually doing it. As long as you persevere, as long as you keep on getting after it, doing better, learning from your mistakes, learning from your failures, that is how we improve and that will get you to the level that you aspire to be at. Okay? Believing that you will succeed every time while knowing you're going to fail at some point and you're okay with it. Right? That's the key. That is the perseverance in baseball, especially, is having the belief that you will succeed every single time. Going out there, I will get a hit every single hit. I will strike out every single batter. I will not make an error my entire life. Having that belief that you are the best and you are going to get better and you are going to succeed, but also knowing that you're going to fail at some point. Just knowing it. It is inevitable. Everybody fails in baseball. Everybody does not succeed at the level that they would like. But the key is that you are okay with it and you just move on and you learn from it. That's the most important thing. That is the perseverance that I'm talking about. Believing you will succeed every single time while knowing you're going to fail at some point, and then you're okay with it. Being okay with it. All right. So these are the 5 principles of any improvement and any growth. All right. So remember, the first one is quality over quantity. Make sure you focus on the quality of your reps over the number of reps that you take. The second one is attention to detail. Make sure you're not just going through the motions just to get it over with. The third one is some type of reflection or analysis after you are finished so you can learn and be better for next time. The fourth one is consistency and discipline. The only way that we can actually improve over time is being consistent with your practice schedule. And the last one is perseverance, knowing that you are going to fail at some point, but believing that you're going to succeed every single time. So these are the 5 principles that I use in my own life. I teach my players that players can use to improve at anything, that coaches can use. These principles are just everything in improving at anything in life. So I really, really hope this kind of structured your practice, your drills when you are trying to improve and you're trying to grow at baseball or just at anything in life, any skill in life. Use these 5 principles and you will get better, no doubt. All right, so hopefully you enjoyed. Before you go, make sure you grab your free guide down below. I have a free parent starter pack for any new parent to youth baseball needs a little help. I have a free coaching starter pack with a practice plan and a whole bunch of other downloads in there. Feel free to grab it if you think it would be helpful. Okay, so remember, I'm Coach Hart. This is Building Better Baseball, the best place for baseball education. I will see you in another video real soon.